Hello, hello, hello. Does everybody hear me? Checking to see if that's... oh, we're going to miss a little Skype. Hey, you can just have us off in the corner and, we'll be there. Hello, everybody. Hi, Corinna. Hi. I don't know if it's J.S. Hayden or J. Hayden. Zoe, it's so nice to see you. See how nice I am? My name's Gray Miller. I'm the Executive Director of Worldbuilders, and here with me is... nobody. I'm doing it solo today, and it's kind of nerve-wracking because, as it happens, we're also going to try something today we've never tried before. And I'm working off someone else's notes, so what could possibly go wrong? What did I do with Jay? I sent Zay to go on a very specific special mission, and so she's not going to be able to be here today, but we are using Zay's research and Zay's notes. So I'm continuing in the time-honored tradition of being a cis white male who is profiting off of the work of other people. No, wait, that's not true. She gave her explicit permission to be able to use this, and I'm actually very excited. We'll talk about why later on, but first of all, I wanted to be noted, I have my little buttons set up the way that Jamie would have me do it. And so since we have made our welcome, we will now go into the announcements and turn off the welcome. Nobody's welcome anymore. All right. Hey, Yonikes. I don't know. Yonikes? I don't know how you pronounce it. But... what announcements? Oh, we have such great announcements. In fact, the announcements are so good that we have to go to the feature in order to look at them. So first of all, as you know, February is Black History Month. And if you go to the World Builders Market, we featured several of our favorite authors that we carry in the store who are Black authors. Some of this is Afrofuturism. Some of it is just written in amazing ways. So we'd highly recommend that you check them out. And if you have more people that you'd like to see us carry, please let us know. We are really interested in doing that. We also, somewhere in here here we are. We have our Valentine's Day sale. Now, we talked last week about how we have different ideas about whether or not we like Valentine's Day or not. And, if you want to, the good news is, and our store manager, Mike, may kill me for saying this, but if you order soon, odds are it'll still reach you. Maybe not you, Corinna, but everybody on the continental U.S. should be able to get their things. And this is a special little drawing or little ad featuring the jewelry that we have. I think that the fulcrum is especially a good one. And hey, look at that. We have the link to the collections there as well. Yes, it is Mike's birthday. And I will now deliver a summarized rendition of our meeting this morning when we found out that it was Mike's birthday. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Moving on, we also, along with these titles, we have lots of audiobooks. So, let's see here. There we go. Audio, yes! Again, featuring the lovely graphic stylizations of Zoe. We have audiobooks, and we also made up a URL that's easier to access the audiobooks. So you can get to them. And I will tell you, I listen to Libro every day when I take Saru on walks. I was just telling the other staff, I've been listening to a mystery horror kind of thing called Ink, which is about a bad guy who can if he touches you and you have a tattoo like this, if he touches it, it will disappear and go onto his body, and all of the memories that you have of this tattoo and everything that is associated with it will disappear, and he will get them. So he preys on other people's memories. It is a creepy ass book, especially if you are somebody who likes to have ink on your skin. The idea of people being able to steal those memories is kind of icky. Like that one I just showed you is from the commitment ceremony that I had with my partner. But at the same time, even if you don't, it was really good. And I got to say, Libro, I confess, I used to be an Audible person. I've been an Audible person since Audible started. However, Libro has, I mean, every title that Audible has, but they have almost as many, and it is supporting local bookstores. We can support people like A Room of One's Own or Worldbuilders. We are a bookstore. You can do that too. Tattoos are the Satan's doodles. Does that make you the Satan's sketchbook, Captain Macbeth? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But anyway, and by the way, I'll also say that particular title that is on my list. I love that book. You've heard me babble about how great that book is up there. But I haven't heard it on audio, so it's one that I would love to hear. If you've listened to it, please let me know how good it is. Also, I don't have actually things up here for it, but we have a very special guest next week. You may remember that during the last event that we had, what was that called? Oh yeah, the end of year fundraiser. You may remember an author named Nandi Taylor. Now, Nandi has written a book called Given. It's a new paperback. And she is going to be signing 3 of those books and personalizing them on this show next week at noon. Hey, I guess if I'm not talking about people, I can actually go back to, transitions. Good thing I don't love anything enough to get a tattoo of. I mean, it's also for memories. But anyway, yes, Nandi Taylor is going to be on this show. She's going to be talking about all kinds of things, and she's going to have 3 copies of her new book that she will personalize and sign. Now, if you would like these books, these are, of course, part of raising money for Worldbuilders. You can pre-order them, and I'm holding off on this because when it actually shows up, there's only 3 copies, so it's very possible they will disappear by the time you actually hear this, if you're listening to the recording. But it will be at worldbuildersmarket.com/given signed. Okay, so that is that one. Also, I'm very excited. I held up a book last time I don't have it with me, but Son of the Storm by Suyi Davies Okungboa. And he has said that he would like to come on probably sometime in March or May. And this is really exciting. E. Lily Yu is the author of On Fragile Waves, which we just put up for pre-order on our thing. Now, one of the interesting things about Ms. Yu is that she does not do any recorded media. So we can't have her on this show because we record these shows and then we put them out on YouTube and stuff like that. Well, she's going to come on and do a special event with Zay, probably one of those like after hours, and that will be only live. It will be a beauty of an ephemeral piece, says the person who basically got a degree in performance art and made the mistake of saying, I'm going to make ephemeral pieces, and so I don't have any video. But it is a beautiful ephemeral idea, and we may have more stuff coming. We will definitely tell you later on. And Jay Shaden says, love audiobooks. Usually get them from the library, which is fine if you're willing to wait for hold, and if it's Brandon Sanderson and the darn thing is 57 hours long. Very true. I will say I kind of like to mix it up a little bit. Like I have other services where I borrow the books, but then I also like to support various booksellers or authors even, or things that I know I'm going to want to have forever, like the Brandon Sanderson ones. Interesting things about tattoos going on here. Obviously, I should have made the subject today tattoo. Cat Macbeth says, it's a total myth. You need to be super in love forever and ever, amen, with whatever tattoo you get. The more you get, the less meaningful you care about them being. A friend of mine just got one of them screaming a possum wearing RBG's descent collar. I love it. Yes, and you can also get them much later on. I have a Marine Corps tattoo on my arm, and I didn't get it until I was in my 40s, and that was like 20 years after I got out of the Marines, because when I was in the Marines, I didn't have time to get one. So you can always have it commemorating later on, and there's no rush. In fact, there's especially no rush because, hey, COVID, not necessarily the best time to get ink. I know this because of all of my friends who really like getting ink and are really sad that they can't do that right now. I think that's it for announcements, so that means it is time. Yay, Jay Kester's on. We are going to go to trivia. So let's see how we do this. We get rid of that, and then we gain that, and instead we go to that. Oh no, it didn't show up. Oh, look at that. It's so sad. What did I do wrong? That's what I did wrong. There we go. Okay, so here's the old trivia question. It's totally smooth. My mom and I got matching tattoos when she turned 60. Wow. That is awesome. What is the maximum amount of gold a player can have in the original NES version of the game Dragon Warrior? Now, it is entirely fitting that I would be answering this because I have never played Dragon Warrior. I've never owned an NES. I only last week learned the correct way to pronounce NES. But, oh my God, the trivia answer did not actually go in there the way it was supposed to. I know that it was told to me, and in my notes it is missing, so I will have to go back and look in Slack totally smoothly, and no one will ever know. The answer is... Do we want to try? Anybody want to guess? Did anybody figure it out? No? 999? Good guess, but no. The answer is the incredibly intuitive 65,535 gold pieces. Okay? Now, the good news is we actually have a winner from last month's trivia. And the winner is, her name is Michelle. I won't say more than that because obviously privacy. But if your name is Michelle and you play trivia, you might be getting an email shortly to have a choice of what prize you'd like. We are giving people a little bit of a choice. I mean, not huge choice, but a little bit of choice because we don't want to end up, giving you something you don't want. So we try and it's a book, a game. I think there's a backpack on that sheet, maybe. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah. But you also can win if you can answer this next question. Now, before I put it up there, remember, we do not want to put the answer up in the chat right now. We want to DM the answer to us here. And you know what? Hey, Zoe, I'm going to make your life a little bit more difficult. I'm going to say that if you happen to be watching this right now and you get the answer before the end of today's broadcast, which let's say 1 p.m. that is, 1 p.m. Central Time, you'll get 2 entries because you should get credit for showing up and seeing the question live. But remember, don't put it in the chat. And Zoe, that means that when we get the answers, you're going to have to actually look at the timestamp and give the people that were in this one 2 of them because, I just like making your life more interesting. Here comes the new one. Except I can't, there it is. Yes, perfect. I actually really love this one. The first African-American woman astronaut in space was part of a 1992 NASA mission. She was also the first real-life astronaut to appear in an episode of Star Trek. What is her name? DM us your answer versus be your favorite one. And we will have that up there. So I actually heard, and I don't know if this is true because it's one of those, hey, I saw somebody singing a song about it on TikTok, so obviously it must be true. But the song was saying that when NASA was sending up the first woman astronaut, they actually decided to send her up with, she was going to go up for 6 days of a mission, and they allotted 100 tampons to go with her, and then checked with her to make sure that would be enough. That was an interesting thing for the finest minds and rocket scientists to have. I'd be interested to know if that is a true story or if it's anecdotal. Even if it is anecdotal, it also, frankly, is not that far off from the way our culture tends to be. Our culture being the United States culture. I won't project onto others. there's those people up north, the Canadianese type, that, if that doesn't represent the gender disparities, and yeah, no kidding. And you know what? It's not even just the gender disparities. It's also the matter of it's not like there weren't women in rocket science. There weren't women rocket scientists. It's just that they didn't have the power and they weren't paid attention to. So really, did somebody say Canada? Oh God, we woke up Saucefire. Oh boy. Moving right along. What is Zezzy Olsen doing on here? Anyway, speaking of Zay, now's where I get to totally ruin your... So, one of the things that Zay is doing along with me is we are researching systems thinking, and we're like kind of mapping out the systems of world builders to find out how we can do things better. Part of this is mapping out this thing. And so we're kind of getting more and more practice in mapping out. And Zay has a perfectly good and perfectly functional diagram of how World Builders works, how we do the Geeks Doing Good. And we're using that as the basis for our thing today. But because I am a little bit masochistic, I guess, we're going to try something that we've never tried before on World Builders Weekly, which is I'm going to try sharing my iPad, where I get to pull out my old graphic recording skills, and we're going to talk about how weird World Builders is and the weird ways that we work to accomplish our mission. So I'm going to have to just bear with me while I try and set this up in the way it's going to go. So the first thing I have to do is I have to get rid of... Nope, not that. That's not what I need to do. The first thing I need to do is I need to turn on that, and then I need to turn off that, and then I need to turn off that, and then I'm going to disappear here in a moment because my Zoom is going to be sharing the screen. So I go over to Zoom, I say share screen, I want to share my iPad, and it says, what? Sharing your iPad? Can you still hear me? Okay, good. You can all still hear me. That's at least good. I was worried I'd be silent too. And it's trying to find my iPad. It found my iPad, which means you now get to see my iPad and hear my voice. So hopefully I'm going to hear some Gray proceeds to try bath salts on stream. Hey, I'm offended, Saucefire. I am a 52, soon to be 53-year-old man with arthritis. I have tried the hell out of bath salts, starting with Epsom and moving up from there. Oh wait, were you thinking of something else? Never mind. Anyway, so here we have World Builders, Geeks Doing Good. But the question is, first of all, what does that mean? What do we believe in? Well, let's see. We believe in equity, which is different than equality. Remember that. Gray is too... thank you. I am too pure. That's what people always say. We believe in equality. And remember, those are different things. We believe in sustainable solutions. And we would like to, and by that nature, they would be long term. Okay? Sure, it's fine to solve problems as they come, but, what else can go? The question is, if we believe in all these things, who do we believe in them for? Like, what are we doing this for? Do we need to give more sustainable solutions and long-term solutions to, say, people who are wealthy and well off? No, we believe in, first of all, giving it to marginalized cultures. And marginalized could mean any kinds of things. Intersectionality is a thing. So, frankly, everybody is probably a part of some marginalized community, but we do what we can. So we have marginalized community. We have our beloved geek community. we want to make sure that we are there for you as well, which is why we do things like provide geeky masks. And finally, we believe in that whole idea of putting on your own mask first. So within our own organization, we also believe in these things. So we have to make sure that we walk the walk and talk the talk. Now, I'll tell you honestly, this is less strange or less normal than you would think. One of my earliest jobs on the web was working for an author. I won't say her name, but she was a person who wrote lots of those great career, let's figure out how to do what we're going to do and be happy with what we're doing and find joy and find pleasure out of our thing. And you know, she would, in her books, write about how you shouldn't work too hard. Beyonce's awesome. Yes, she would say all those things. But then I worked for her. And let me tell you, anybody who's done web design works knows that client who thinks that you are on call 24 hours a day and also will occasionally find or hear about some new fad that she thinks would be great. Yeah, that does not go so well. That's what she was like. So the fact that we also are careful to practice what we preach is another important thing. So that's what we mean when we say geeks doing good. Okay? Because the geek community is the lifeblood, the beating heart of our organization. There, look at that beating heart there. That's right. I actually paid a lot of money to learn how to draw things like that. That is the beating heart. Now, of course, we would. Who are these geeks doing good? Well, we start with our founder, the inestimable Pat Rothfuss, and I'm not as good as Zay, but I'm going to try and draw a Pat Rothfuss there. It's either a Pat Rothfuss or a Cthulhu. I'm not sure which. But we start out with him. And then, of course, we have a lot of various celebs who have come along and helped us out, especially at the Worldbuilders party. Now, I can't write much about that because I've never been to one. Never heard of it before. But, you know, celebs, we'll say those are stars. And hey, just for fun, we'll make the stars yellow because gold, maybe orange is better. There we go. Lots of stars. And then, of course, the people I do have a lot of experience with, the donors. That is a lot of you and a lot of your friends and a lot of other people like that. I'll be honest, one of the things I love about my job is that I don't have to go to what they call a stable of donors, where there's like 10 people who give us hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, or I have to talk them into bequesting their estate to us. No, we actually have thousands of donors. We are a community, a crowd, and that is so fucking awesome. Hey, I can say fucking awesome too. That is my official thing. So goddamn awesome. And then, of course, what do we do with the donors? We help them get things that are from sponsors. For example, we are talking about, for the Geeks Doing Good Showcase, working with Die Hard Dice to make extra special. Oh God, Gray, did you really decide you were going to draw an icosahedron on live and camera while talking? Sure, why not? That's a dice. 20-sided. True fact, when you are doing graphic recording, if you draw something that is unclear of what it is, you just label it. Yes, the truncated rhombus. We can draw that. So our sponsors also will be helping us out with their stuff. So we have things like Die Hard Dice. We have, gosh, look at that, me forgetting our sponsors. Well, certainly Humble Bundle was a big part of things, the Humble Bundle community. We just have a new one, Half Monster. They're going to be sending us some card games like Trust Me, I'm a Doctor. All kinds of fun things. And yeah, Julia. We will let Julia do this later on. Oh God, I'm drawing in front of Julia. Okay, you can't see the facepalm now, but no pressure, no pressure. But along with our sponsors is a special kind of sponsor, which are our licensed creators. Now these are people, for example, there's this great artist named Julia Madalena, who has made some great posters and great paintings that she has allowed us to sell as art prints. Gray's increasingly a self-conscious stream. Oh, no. Crimshot, believe me, I've done far more things that are self-conscious. This is me acting like I'm self-conscious because that makes me seem like I'm vulnerable and thereby helps establish rapport with the audience. Oh, wait. Is this on? I'm sorry. I should not have been said that. Anyway, our licensed creators, people like Jim Butcher, who let us sell the shit out of his Dresden File stuff at the last thing. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And he also lets other artists create them. I can't remember the name of the artist. Maybe Zay can put it in the chat. But who did the on a T-Rex poster? Yeah, Gray Babylon stream. Hey, have you watched not only Worldbuilders Associated streams, but also, frankly, any stream on Twitch? I am babbling a lot less than most people. Meanwhile, we have worked with licensed creators. So you can see here we got a whole bunch of things. Now, what do we do with all of this stuff? Well, the reason we need all this stuff is because we are very, very strange. You all know that we like to donate to Heifer International. And Heifer, let's see if I can draw a goat. Sure, there's a goat. It's a very strange goat. Sure, that's a goat. So, the goat and the cow is jumping over the goat. There's a cow. Ears. The cow is jumping over the goat. We donate to Heifer mainly. And there's something very special about this that happens, is that we donate 100% of the end-of-year fundraiser goes to Heifer. And that's not normal. That is not normal for a charity to do, because most charities, they have administrative costs. Very reasonably, it takes time to actually work with that. And it takes time and money and resources to do stuff. So what was created with Worldbuilders was this way that we can use our market to build interest in the charity work by having a relationship with both our donors and the creators and the sponsors, oftentimes facilitated by our founder up there. And it enables us to then develop cool merchandise. What's something simple that I can draw that we sell? We can develop merchandise for Geeks. There we go. It's a shirt. There we go. We can develop merchandise for Geeks, which means that you let us take care of our administrative costs that way. Okay, will you let us take care of not just the administrator's costs either. We also, I know you have it on here, we also are able to ship the prizes, shipping. We also are able to plan for new stuff. Oh, and I should add, when we sell these things, the licensed creators also get a cut as well, which means that we can help people develop their things that they come up with. For example, Kanan Grawl, with his Max over Axe comic strips, we were able to arrange to get that published. And of course, we have King Killer stuff as well. Here, I can draw a loot. There we go. Of course, we have all kinds of stuff like that to continue to develop. And you're going to see that happen more often. Heck, for that matter, yeah, we do pay Saucefire a substantial fee. Yeah, Saucefire fee, which takes up approximately 73.9% of our budget. But you are worth every syllable, Saucefire. Absolutely. Yeah, a bent spoon is what a loot looks like. Have you seen a loot? That's exactly what they are. And that's exactly what it's for. So we are shipping. We can plan for more stuff, for more items to be done. And I'm looking here at Zay's things. And here's the cool thing. We are starting to be able to have more money left over. We are a non-profit. So if we have extra money, it doesn't go into anybody's pocket. It definitely, there's sometimes a rumor that it goes over to Pat's pocket. Sorry, Pat doesn't get one dime. In fact, he loses money with the things that he does for this charity because it's his baby. He really loves it. So we are a non-profit, which means that we can start doing new things. We are starting new initiatives. So, for example, we started Operation Book Drop right at the beginning of the pandemic. We wanted to make sure that people got a reason to stay home. Now, what's funny is I have seen other bookstores and things come out and say, hey, we're going to encourage you to stay home. But I don't know if we might have been, if not the first, one of the first ones to do that. And we sent over 1,000 books across the U.S. and even a few into Canada. So, yeah, that was a initial iteration of it, Saucefire, Pat in a hot air balloon dropping books on people. However, we found that the relative velocity of the paperback version of Name of the Wind versus the hardback version caused too much drift, and so the accuracy wasn't there. So we decided to go with the USPS instead. Then we also had the Masked Hero project, which is something I'm especially fond of, which is also funny because the Masked Hero, I remember having a conversation with Jamie, and I said, I would love to offer these masks just for free, but I don't know that I can trust that the giving away a free mask, including shipping, to anybody that wants to order one would be sustainable. Like, how could we possibly do that? Wouldn't just they order all the masks? No. In fact, yes, while we did send a lot of free masks out, the donations of masks towards that program far outstripped any of the demand, and it's been amazing. And she said, and she even just recently pointed out to me, said, Gray, I told you should trust the geeks. They are good people. And I do trust the geeks. I've just known a lot of geeks, but maybe I just haven't known the right one. I've just known Saucefire for, a while. Anyway, so we do, here's the thing. This doesn't quite cover everything, which is why we do the Indiegogo. Okay, the Indiegogo is our capacity fundraiser. And capacity is exactly the same as thinking of a battery. What we do with the capacity is that we recharge so that we have enough funds to continue the work as the year goes on. And it also is a chance for us to come up with new products from the licensed creators. They go in there, and they also get a cut of that too because they're licensing their work. And so lots of things like that. And we are looking at doing more. A personal fantasy of mine, don't quote me on this, but I would love it if we could sponsor an author to go to like a Clarion workshop. I would love it if somewhere down the road there was an author of Pat's stature that was saying, yeah, I got my start. I didn't think I was ever going to make it, but then Worldbuilders sent me to Clarion, and that was the turning point and we can turn around and say yes, and we were able to do that because of our donors and because of our sponsors and because of the creators who work with us. Okay. Clarion, the Clarion Writers Workshop, Saucefire. Although I will tell you, Now it's changed because with, Bezos freeing out to totally, revamp the space program, I think we should send a writer to the moon. And I would say that we should send Mary Robinette Cole to the moon. If any writer deserves to go to the moon, that would be perfect. There is not a World Builders space program yet. We have only have the masks so far. All right. So you all see this whole relationship thing. There's one other aspect of this that is even more complex, which is to say that, Heifer is an international organization. And there are other groups that we also work with. We've worked with First Book. I'm trying to draw that there. We worked with First Book. We've also worked with Mercy Corps. Not Merc Corps. That is a totally different thing run by Sylvester Stallone. Mercy Corps. I don't know what they do, so I'm going to put a cross just to pretend like it's medical stuff. And of course, you all know when we first came in, we did Project Hope. And all of these were sort of immediate. Well, not all of them. Mercy Corps, boy, that's really bad. I can actually do better than that because, watch this. Ooh, we can zoom. These are, there I go again, immediate need things. Now, I'll be honest, we are not planning on doing a lot more of these immediate need things because we just aren't set up for it. Thank you, Operational Director. Crisis fundraisers. And these crisis fundraisers are things that we aren't set up for that. We are more set up for, if you remember, we are looking for sustainable solutions and long-term change. And that's where we support them. And so we try and partner with people that also do that. And of course, all of this is happening. We have people that are not just stretched out. Now I'm going to draw Wisconsin. And I'm also going to not necessarily know where people are. But we have people, Stevens Point is the base of operations where the thing started. We also have people down here in Madison. We have people over here in Eau Claire. I don't know if that's actually where Eau Claire is. We have people, I just erased it. We have people who just were wiped out by the paramedics. We have people who are over there working. And then way over there, we also have a person in Seattle, Washington. Let's see if I'll draw there we go. That's the tower in Seattle. So we are doing this all working remotely. And I will say, guess what? World Builders teams were not designed to work remotely. So we've been making that part up as we went along. And we've been doing it during a friggin' pandemic, which means that we can't invite you all to come and help us do the fulfillment packaging and things like that. So the reason I'm saying this is not to say, oh, poor us. It's to say, holy cow, do we have an amazing team that is making all of this stuff happen. So I want to give them extra credit for how extra complex this can be. So when we say World Builders is weird, this is what we are talking about. Okay, we are talking about the fact that this is a very strange way for people to not only make a living, but also to run a nonprofit and to try and make sustainable change in the world. But at the same time, it's a lot of fun. And we believe in what we're doing. And based on the response we've seen from you, you believe in what we're doing. And we appreciate it. And sometimes there's some confusion about how the different parts fit together and where things go and what people do stuff. And so obviously this very clear drawing and explanation will save us from having any more questions from anyone because you'll all just understand what's going on. So all that being said, I am now going to try and go back to the regularly scheduled, the main thing. But I will tell you, every time I've tried this in rehearsal, it has ended up with my video kind of cutting off. So if I disappear for a brief time, don't worry, I'll be back. Yes, guys, we want you to come. We are so looking forward to when we can open up the building again. and have people do that. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to stop sharing. Nope, wait. First thing I'm going to do is actually switch scenes. So I go back to the main scene, and look, there I'm not. And now I will stop sharing here, and that worked fine. And, oh hey, I could just do that, couldn't I? So I'm going to actually, all this time I did not highlight that we were working on the topic. My bad. So now let's see if we can get the zoom to actually work again. And I go over there, and I think we got it. Yep, I'm back. And large as life and twice as ugly. Bonus points if you know what movie that comes from. All right, so now's the point when I can say, hey, are there any questions? Any questions from people about things? Not that I'm going to answer them. This is where, glad Zay's online, because she can actually talk about what is going on. Well, yeah, Saucefire would be a legitimate suspect. If I ever do disappear, I want everybody to start looking for me by questioning Saucefire, and then move on from there to other suspects. Zay would be another likely suspect, too. She has already referred to herself as executive director a few times on broadcasts, so I'm pretty sure that there's a plan for my disappearance. But I'm looking to see if there's any other questions from people. I swear Gray accidentally fell in the hole in my backyard. Yeah. I wish. Saucefire, you're in Canada, aren't you? Isn't that true? You won't let me into your country. I don't have a vaccine. I don't have, I can't get into Canada. So, hole in the backyard off list of excuses. Yeah. All right. Well, if there's no other particular questions, then I'm going to scroll down this thing and say, hey, guess what? I think it's time to talk about how you should tune in next week. And we will have one of our favorite people, Nandi Taylor, as our guest. And if you have other creators or authors or gamers, or developers or artists, we're also going to have, by the way, on March 2nd, we're going to have the designers of Root, which is a board game that has just come out with a new, it's going to have a Kickstarter for an expansion set called Marauder. And they will be coming on to talk about their game. It's a really popular game, very hard to find. We have some of the only copies that are out there right now. So if you want to try it out beforehand, check it out on the store. And that's a good example of the kinds of unique, rare, and even epic level items you can find at worldbuildersmarket.com. And by purchasing it there, you enable us to continue to be a 100% pass-through organization. If you have any comments, compliments, or suggestions, you can email them to questions@worldbuilders.org, and Zay will be happy to talk to you about my artistic talent or lack thereof. So, thanks for being here with us on this solo World Builders Weekly, and next week, same time, but probably more people or even different people. Twitch TV World Builders, make sure you subscribe. You probably all are subscribed because you showed up early. And now it's time for the ritual sign-off. And today the word is Sketchamoose. And he looks to see. And Sketchamoose, there it is. Bye, everybody.